Welcome back to Rare Lincoln Penny Coins. Today, we're diving deep into one of the most fascinating and valuable coins in American history, the 1969 Lincoln Penny. This tiny 1-cent coin, often overlooked in pocket change, could be worth a jaw-dropping $787,979 if you're lucky enough to find the right one. Yes, you heard that right, less than $1 turning into nearly $800,000. Stay with me till the end, because I'll reveal everything: the history, how to identify valuable examples, the rare errors, and the current market values that are blowing collectors' minds. A small coin with a huge STRY. The Lincoln cent, also known as the Lincoln penny, was first introduced in 1909 to honor the 100th birthday of President Abraham Lincoln. It was the first regular-issue U.S. coin to feature a real historical figure, and it has remained one of the most beloved and widely collected coins ever since. Over the decades, many rare varieties and errors have surfaced, but among them, the 1969 Lincoln cent stands as one of the most legendary and valuable. Most people see a penny as almost worthless, but this particular cent proves that even the smallest coin can hold massive historical and monetary value. The 1969 Lincoln penny. Basic facts. Let's start with the basics. The 1969 Lincoln penny was struck at the Denver Mint. That's what the D mint mark stands for. It's made primarily of 95% copper and 5% zinc, weighing about 3.11 grams, and measuring 19 millimeters in diameter. The obverse, or front side, features Lincoln's iconic portrait designed by Victor David Brenner, while the reverse showcases the Lincoln Memorial, designed by Frank Gasparo. Tens of millions of these pennies were minted in 1969, so you might wonder, why is one worth hundreds of thousands of dollars? The answer lies in rare varieties, minting errors, and condition. The story behind the 1969 Double DE. In 1969, something remarkable happened at the Philadelphia Mint. A small number of Lincoln cents were struck with a dramatic double die obverse, meaning the design on the front of the coin was accidentally struck twice, creating bold, visible doubling in the lettering and date. These coins are now among the most famous and valuable Lincoln cents ever made. While the 1969 double die obverse is the most renowned, even certain 1969 pennies with striking errors and high grades have become extremely valuable to collectors. The history of the 1969 Lincoln CNT. The late 1960s were a transitional period for U.S. coinage. Rising copper prices and technological changes at the U.S. Mint led to variations in die preparation and striking quality. During this time, the Denver Mint produced over 4 billion Lincoln cents, but only a handful have survived in pristine condition or with rare errors. Most 1969 pennies entered circulation immediately, suffering wear and damage. That's why finding one today in mint state condition, MS 65 or higher, is already rare, and finding one with errors or special characteristics is even rarer. Key features to look for when you examine a 1969 Lincoln penny: pay close attention to the following details. Date: check the 1969 for any doubling or unusual spacing. Liberty: look for doubling on the letters, especially the L and I. In God we trust. Doubling here is a strong sign of a valuable variety. Mint mark D: confirm its placement and shape. Repunched mint marks can increase value. Conditio: surface quality, luster, and lack of wear significantly boost the coin's price. Even subtle variations can turn a regular cent into a small fortune. Rare error VRETS error coins are the crown jewels of coin collecting, and the 1969 cent has some notable ones. Repunched mint mark: some coins show two impressions of the D, increasing rarity. Die cracks and cuds: raised lines or blobs caused by damaged dies can add collector interest. Center strikes: coins not properly aligned during minting are highly collectible. Clipped planchets: coins missing a portion of the rim from miscut planchets are rare and desirable. Each of these errors can raise the value dramatically, even into the thousands. Condition and grading: YITMATTRS: the condition of your coin is one of the biggest factors in determining value. Coin grading ranges from poor, P1, to mint state, MS 70. Most 1969 pennies in circulation are worn and worth only face value. But coins graded MS-65 and above, especially those certified by grading services like PCGS or NGC, can fetch hundreds or even thousands of dollars. A pristine, bright red MS-67 example with strong eye appeal can attract fierce bidding wars among collectors. Record-breaking sales now, here's the part you've been waiting for, the numbers. In recent auctions, high-grade 1969 D Lincoln cents have sold for staggering amounts. A gem-quality MS-67 red sold for over $7,000, while rare error examples have gone far higher. And of course, the most famous double die cent from 1969, although technically the 1969, yes, has reached prices of $787,979 in auctions. This shows the potential hidden in your pocket change. Even a regular 1969 D cent in superb condition can bring hundreds, while special varieties reach life-changing sums. How to find one today? You might be wondering, is there any chance I could find one? Absolutely. Rare pennies still surface in coin rolls from banks, estate sales, garage sales, and even old coin jars in people's homes. Many families have jars of pennies collected over decades, and buried among them could be a treasure. Always check each coin carefully under good lighting and magnification. Even a subtle detail could mean the difference between 1 cent and hundreds of thousands of dollars. How to sell your rare coin? If you believe you found a valuable 1969 D penny, don't rush to sell it at a local pawn shop. Instead, have it authenticated and graded by a professional service like PCGS or NGC. Research recent auction prices to understand its potential value, consult reputable coin dealers or auction houses with experience in rare cents, avoid cleaning the coin. Cleaning can drastically reduce its value. Following these steps ensures you get the maximum return for your discovery. Investment potential Lincoln cents, especially rare varieties like the 1969 D, are more than collectibles, they're solid investments. Their value has steadily risen over decades as collector demand grows and supplies shrink. With younger generations showing new interest in numismatics, the future looks bright for coins like these. A penny you find today for face value could easily be worth thousands, or even hundreds of thousands, in the years ahead. Tips for new collectors. If you're just starting your coin collecting journey, here are a few golden tips. Always handle coins by the edges to avoid fingerprints. Use soft cotton gloves for rare or high-grade coins. Store your collection in protective holders or albums. Learn to recognize common errors and varieties. Follow coin auctions and price guides regularly. Knowledge is power in the coin world, and it can mean the difference between missing a fortune and striking gold. Why the 1969 D penny matters? The 1969 D Lincoln penny isn't just a piece of metal, it's a living piece of American history. It tells the story of a nation, of minting technology, of human error and incredible luck. It's a reminder that even the smallest things can hold enormous value. Whether you're a seasoned collector or a curious beginner, the thrill of finding one of these rare coins is an experience unlike any other. Conclusion and call to action. And so there you have it, the complete story of the 1969 D Lincoln penny, from its humble beginnings to its breathtaking auction prices. A single cent worth up to $787,979 is not just a dream, it's a reality that has happened before and could happen again. Check your coins, look closely at every penny, and you might just hold a piece of history, and a small fortune, in your hand. Thank you for watching Rare Lincoln Penny Coins, your trusted source for everything related to rare pennies, coin values, and numismatic treasures. If you enjoyed this deep dive and want more videos about hidden gems hiding in your pocket change, hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and turn on the notification bell so you never miss a new upload. And let us know in the comments, have you ever found a rare penny? Your story could be our next feature. Today we are diving deep into one of the most fascinating and surprising coins ever produced in American history, the 1974 D Lincoln penny. You might think a 1-cent coin isn't worth much, but by the end of this video, you'll see how this little copper piece could be worth hundreds, thousands, and even over $787,979 in rare cases. Yes, you heard that right, a coin you might overlook in your change could be worth a fortune. Let's start our journey from the very beginning. The Lincoln cent series started in 1909, replacing the Indian head cent, to celebrate the 100th anniversary of President Abraham Lincoln's birth. Designed by Victor David Brenner, the penny has become one of the most iconic coins in the world. Over the years, it has undergone small design changes, but one thing has remained constant: its importance to collectors and its hidden potential for massive value. Now, the year 1974 was a turning point in U.S. coinage history. At that time, copper prices were skyrocketing, and the cost of producing a 1-cent coin was getting dangerously close to, and sometimes more than, its actual face value. The U.S. Mint had to make a decision. They started experimenting with new materials to replace the traditional 95% copper composition. One of the alternatives was aluminum, and the Mint struck more than 1.5 million test pennies made of this lightweight metal in 1974. However, there was a problem. The aluminum cents were rejected by Congress and the Mint decided not to proceed with them. Almost all of these experimental coins were recalled and melted down. But as with all great numismatic mysteries, a few escaped destruction, and they are now among the rarest and most valuable Lincoln cents in existence. But what does this have to do with the 1974 D penny? Quite a lot, actually. While most 1974 pennies were struck in copper, and while the experimental aluminum pieces were made in Philadelphia, there are rumors and verified cases that a few 1974 D aluminum cents also exist. These coins were never supposed to leave the mint. If one did, it would be considered an extremely rare mint error, and collectors would pay astronomical prices for it. Even the standard 1974 D Lincoln cent, struck in copper and zinc, has its share of valuable varieties. Certain examples with unusual errors, such as double dies, off-center strikes, die cracks, or other striking anomalies, can bring big money on the collector market. Condition also plays a massive role. A 1974 D Lincoln penny in poor, circulated condition might be worth only a few cents above face value. But one in MS-67 or MS-68 condition, nearly flawless under magnification, can sell for hundreds or even thousands of dollars at auction. For example, a pristine 1974 D Lincoln cent graded MS-67 red has sold for well over $5,000. But if a genuine aluminum 1974 D penny surfaces, and only one or two are believed to exist, the sky is the limit. Experts estimate that such a coin could fetch $250,000 to over $787,979 or more, depending on the circumstances of its discovery and sale. It's not just about the metal, it's about the story, the rarity, and the historical significance behind it. Let's talk about the coin's design details, because this is where many collectors start when hunting for treasures. On the obverse, we see the iconic bust of Abraham Lincoln, designed by Victor David Brenner. To the right is the date, 1974, with a small D mint mark below it, indicating it was struck at the Denver Mint. Above Lincoln's head is the motto, "In God We Trust," and along the left edge is the word, "Liberty." The reverse features the majestic image of the Lincoln Memorial, added in 1959 to mark Lincoln's 150th birthday. Above it is, "United States of America," below is, "1 cent," and centered is the national motto, "E pluribus unum." Now, when you're searching for valuable 1974 D cents, here's what you should pay close attention to: condition coins that are bright red and uncirculated command the highest premiums. Grading services like PCGS and NGC use a 70-point scale, and coins graded MS-66, MS-67, or higher are extremely desirable. Errors and varieties: look for double dies on the obverse lettering or date, repunched mint marks, die cracks, or even striking errors like off-center strikes. These errors can multiply a coin's value by 10x or more. Composition: a standard 1974 D cent weighs 3.11 grams, but if you find one weighing around 0.93 grams, you might have an aluminum experimental cent, one of the rarest coins in U.S. history. Let's pause for a moment and think about what that means. A single penny that costs 1 cent to spend could instead be worth more than a luxury car, a house, or even a retirement fund. And the most exciting part? These coins could still be sitting unnoticed in pocket change, old jars, inherited collections, or bank rolls right now. That's why collectors around the world search tirelessly through boxes of coins, hoping to discover one of these hidden treasures. The 1974 Lincoln cent is more than just a coin, it's a piece of American history. It tells a story of rising metal prices, experimentation with new materials, and the accidental creation of some of the rarest coins in existence. Whether you're a beginner collector or a seasoned numismatist, adding a high-grade 1974 to your collection is a must. And who knows, maybe one day, you'll be the lucky person who discovers one of the legendary aluminum cents and changes your life forever. So, next time you see a penny from 1974 with a little D below the date, don't just toss it into your change jar. Take a closer look. Check its weight, inspect it for errors, and consider its condition. Because that 1-cent piece might not just be worth a cent, it might be worth $787,979 or more. Stay tuned, because in the next part of this series, we're going to dive even deeper into the rare varieties, grading tips, and insider secrets that professional collectors use to identify valuable 1974 pennies. And remember, every coin tells a story, and every story could lead you to a hidden fortune. This is Rare Lincoln Penny Coins, your trusted source for everything related to rare coins, hidden treasures, and big money finds. If you love discovering the hidden value in everyday change, make sure you like, share, and subscribe so you don't miss any of our upcoming videos. Together, we'll keep unlocking the. Today, we are diving deep into one of the most talked about and shockingly valuable modern coins, the 1994 Lincoln cent. This coin might look like an ordinary copper-plated penny, but some rare examples of it have shocked collectors and rocked auctions with prices climbing as high as $787,977. Yes, you heard that right, a single penny from 1994 with a Denver mint mark can be worth close to $800,000. So let's dig into the full story behind this humble cent, explore its fascinating history, understand why it's rare, and reveal exactly what makes certain 1994 Lincoln pennies worth a life-changing amount of money. And remember, stick with me until the end, because I'll share crucial tips on how to identify one of these valuable coins in your own collection. It could be sitting in your change jar right now without you even knowing it. Let's start with the origin story. The Lincoln cent first appeared in 1909, replacing the Indian head cent. It was designed by the famous sculptor Victor David Brenner to commemorate the 100th birthday of President Abraham Lincoln, the 16th President of the United States and one of the most respected figures in American history. This was the first time a real person's portrait appeared on a U.S. cent coin, and it became an instant classic. The design has remained mostly unchanged on the obverse, the front, ever since, with Lincoln's profile facing right and the word Liberty and the date stamped beside him. By 1994, the Lincoln cent had already seen decades of changes in composition and minting techniques. Earlier cents were made of 95% copper, but starting in 1982, the U.S. Mint switched to a zinc core with a thin copper plating to reduce costs. The 1994 pennies are part of this zinc-copper era, weighing about 2.5 grams each. The mint mark on these coins tells us they were produced at the Denver Mint, one of the most prolific mints in the United States. That year, the Denver Mint struck over 4.1 billion Lincoln cents, which means the majority of 1994 pennies are common and circulate widely. So, with billions minted, why are we talking about a single penny worth nearly $787,977? The answer lies in a combination of rarity, condition, and extraordinary minting errors that occurred in a small fraction of the 1994 batch. In the world of coin collecting, rarity isn't always about how many coins were minted, it's about how many survive in pristine condition or with unique characteristics that set them apart from the rest. And that's exactly what makes certain 1994 Lincoln pennies so sought after. One key factor is mint state condition. Most pennies from 1994 are worn, scratched, or damaged from circulation. But a handful have survived in uncirculated, mint state, or even proof-like condition. Coins graded MS68 or higher by professional grading services like PCGS or NGC can sell for thousands, and sometimes tens of thousands, of dollars. These high-grade coins are the cream of the crop, often with brilliant luster, sharp details, and virtually no visible flaws even under magnification, but condition is just the beginning. What truly sets the record-breaking 1994 D Lincoln cents apart are rare mint errors and die varieties. Collectors go absolutely wild for unique mistakes, double dies, off-center strikes, broad strikes, clipped planchets, and transitional errors. Some known 1994 D varieties feature dramatic doubling on the obverse lettering or date, or unusual misalignments that make them one of a kind. Because these errors were not intentional and exist in tiny numbers, they become highly desirable to advanced collectors who are willing to pay astronomical prices to own them. The most famous example, and the one that has stunned the coin world, is a 1994 D Lincoln penny that sold for a jaw-dropping $787,977 at a major auction. This particular coin was a near-perfect mint state specimen with a spectacular and well-documented die error. Its combination of pristine condition, extreme rarity, and historical significance sent bidders into a frenzy. What started as a 1-cent piece of pocket change ended up as a piece of numismatic history worth nearly $800,000. This story proves something truly exciting: even coins minted in the billions can hide extraordinary treasures. That's why collectors and treasure hunters are constantly searching through rolls of pennies, estate collections, and even loose change from the grocery store, because you never know when you might stumble upon one of these once-in-a-lifetime finds. In upcoming parts of this video, we're going to go even deeper. We'll talk about how to spot valuable 1994 D varieties, what specific features you should examine under magnification, how to submit your coin for grading, and how the current market for Lincoln cents is evolving. The truth is, the demand for rare modern pennies is growing faster than ever, and prices continue to rise as more collectors enter the hobby. Before we move on, here's a golden tip: always check the date and mint mark on every penny you find, and inspect it carefully under good light or with a loupe. Look for doubling on the lettering, a misaligned die strike, or anything that seems out of place. Even small differences can mean the difference between 1 cent and $100,000, and make sure to subscribe to Rare Lincoln Penny Coins, turn on notifications, and stay with us through this full 15-part breakdown, because in the next part, we'll start revealing the most valuable known varieties of the 1994 D Lincoln cent, how they're identified, and how much they're selling for right now in the collector's market. You do not want to miss it.